And I feel like I'm so confident right now in myself that I'm like, you know what? I want to wear a skimpy little bikini. And so I will.
Period.
Welcome back to Sisterhood Tea Party podcast, where your cup is never empty and the conversation is always full. I'm Jessica.
And I'm Stephanie. Today we're diving into a big topic that so many of us wrestle with. Can you balance the soft life with the boss life? Is it possible to enjoy the freedom of taking it slow and still crush your goals?
Honestly, it's something I think a lot of women in their 30s are navigating right now and really asking the question of how do we thrive in both these worlds. So today we're breaking it all down, sharing our experiences, and giving you the real tea. But before we dive into today's juicy conversation, let's start with our top of mind segment. What's been top of mind for you this week, Stephanie?
Well, here's the thing. I got bored one day and I was like, you know what? Let me join a celebrity lookalike page. Let me just entertain myself a little bit. So I'm in there and at first I was silently creeping, looking at everybody who was posting and I was like, cool, these are relatable. Then I got bold and I was like, you know what? Let me post a couple pics and have the people, strangers, say, you know, who I look like. I've heard a couple, but I was like, I want to know what they say. Tell me why half the comments said, oh, you look like Candace Owens. What the oh my God. I said Candace Owens is insane. Candace Owens. I said I have better hair than her. What do you mean I look like Candace Owens? I just I had to log off. I had to log off for the rest of the day. I was distraught. I was like, come on.
You could have never in a million years, or I should say, I would have never in a million years guessed Candace Owens. That is is this a trolling group that you've joined? Because that is so disrespectful. Oh my God.
I was like, come on. And there are other people who were commenting, other random celebrities. And I was like, okay, cool. I can definitely see that. What irritated me, it was that multiple people were commenting this and people were liking the comments. Oh my gosh, you look so much like her. And I'm like, I need you to be so for real right now. Like, what?
Okay, can I ask, were these white women saying this? Like, what, like, do you feel like, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, are these people who I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say it. Like, their only black woman they ever see in their circle is Candace Owens. Do you know what I mean? Like, is that it had to be, right? Like, that's insane. You look nothing like her.
That's what I thought. And I was like, I have never in my life heard that before. I've heard other celebrities, other random characters from TV shows or whatever, but never her. And I said, oh, that's rude.
I will never join this group because I feel like I will be so offended. Like,
I had to leave. I deleted my post and I left because I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Were there any others that people said that like were like more common that you were like, okay, I see that, or at least that you were like, I'm honored to see that?
Yeah, someone had said, I can't pronounce her name. I think her name is Sana Lathan. If you look her up, I look probably the closest to her, in my opinion. I can definitely see that. But there are some other random characters that I had never heard of, but I looked at the character. I was like, oh, okay, I could see that too. And some people were just naming like random black women. I was like, yeah, that's not it either. But like
Candace Owens. I was so not expecting that.
I was actually hurt by that. And I don't get offended very easily, but like that was offensive.
It was 100% offensive. It feels like people were trolling you. Yeah.
That I honestly think because there were also laugh reactions on there, and so I'm like, okay, this is giving troll, and I don't love that. But anyway, that's what's on top of mine. But
my initial reaction was like, I don't know what to say. This is wild behavior.
Yeah, I was like, I cannot tell you about this. I need to see your reaction. 100%, because that was my reaction too. I sat there in silence. I was like, I was listening to music, turned off my music. Okay. I need to reevaluate because what?
You're like, I was not silent. I was silenced.
I was silenced. Like immediately. I was like, oh. Okay.
Wow. Well,
But I have to move on. I have to
it's
move on
time to
from
take
it.
a self-care day and just, you know
It is.
what? You deserve that because wow, you were in the trenches there.
So what about you, friend? What's been top of mind?
Okay, top of mind for me because summer weather is swimsuit season and I I am feeling honestly this where I'm at right now in life, I'm feeling more confident than ever in my life and I have not worn a bikini. I think I've kind of worn bikinis, but I was very much trying to cover a whole lot up, right? I was very much feeling insecure about my body. I was very much feeling like, ew, do I look gross in a bikini? All the negative self talk. And I feel like I'm so confident right now in myself that I'm like, you know what? I want to wear a skimpy little bikini. And so
Period.
I am on the hunt. I am I'm on the hunt because I'm like, I don't want to just buy a little cheap one on Amazon. I want to find a really cute, bright. That's the other thing I'm trying to lean into. I want a fun, bright, vibrant one. I don't want like I want black so I look slim. No, I want it all hanging out and I want it really bright and fun and that's where I'm at. So if you guys have any recommendations for where to buy a bikini, let me know because right now my Instagram ads are all bikinis because I just keep looking them up and I cannot decide. And I'm like, what if the quality's not good? I can't tell what's good quality or not. And so if you guys have a recommendation, I don't know if you have a recommendation, but also listeners, let me know.
I don't. No, because I've always bought mine in regular stores. I would say if you're able to find one that has free returns, that's a good place to start and just order a bunch and start trying them on. But yeah, I totally agree with if you're going to go and invest in a cute bikini and have the colors and the patterns or whatever you want, I would get it from a nice place. I wouldn't go Shein or anything like that. I would legit get it from a nicer place. But yeah, I don't have any suggestions. I would love to know when you get some. I would post something for like Tuesday tea or something. Be like, where are we getting bikinis? And like see if you get some responses, and then let me know, and then let everybody know.
That's a great idea. I'm going to do that. You guys, by the time we post this episode, I will have already done that. So, but still, let me know if you have recommendations because, you know, if I really like the first one I buy, then I buy another one. And then I'm like, just bikini season all summer.
Yeah. Are we thinking like we're like showing and throwing ass, or is it just like
I am tired. No, I'm literally, I want to embrace it. I'm like, you know what? Like, and I'm not going to wear a thong, but I have
okay, well, that's kind of like where I was leading with that question, Loki. I was like, are we like...
Not like the string thong, to be clear. But you know what? The last, like, probably 5 years, I've been wearing a goddamn diaper on my ass as my swimsuit. And I don't want it. I want to show the cheeks a little.
Little
like a little
cheeky one.
Yes. Yeah. I'm like, why not? Life's too short and I'm feeling good. I'm going for it. So sorry.
That's what they say. Wear the damn bikini.
Yes, exactly.
I don't give a fuck if they don't want to see it. It's not for them. Okay.
It's for me.
So it's for you. Exactly. I would say wear the cheeky bikini. But yeah, let me know whenever you find out, you know, where you're going to buy them because I want to know too. So, well, let's dive into today's main topic, the soft life versus the boss life.
First things first, let's break down what we mean by the soft life and the boss life. And before we even do that, we want to just go ahead and acknowledge that soft life can definitely be viewed as a privilege. And not everyone has the luxury of stepping away from the hustle and grind because for many, their survival or livelihood depends on constant hard work.
And this concept of prioritizing rest and ease is often tied to having financial stability or access to support systems that allow for someone to essentially slow down without facing significant consequences. We can enjoy and inspire to a softer life, but we also need to recognize that not everyone has the same opportunities to do so.
Yes. That said, we want people to remember that if you are in a position right now to live a soft life, you can still aspire towards it and find small moments to live in softness. So with that, let's talk about what is a soft life? What is that even?
So the soft life is about prioritizing peace and choosing rest over hustle, like waking up slower, not rushing from task to task, and truly enjoying the present. No more grind culture vibes, essentially. But the boss life is where we can put on our ambitious hats, dive into our work, hit our goals, and show up ready to make things happen.
Yes. And then the question becomes, can we do both? And I feel like there's this idea that we have to choose. Either you're working hard or you're relaxing. I even feel like when the soft life thing really started to become popular, I found myself getting trapped in that where I was like resisting the motivation side of me because I was like, but I want to be soft. And life really isn't actually that black and white.
Right. And there's so much pressure to essentially have it all. We're expected to be the girl who's killing it at work, but also taking care of herself, traveling the world, and making it all look effortless on Instagram. And for me, that is not realistic right now. And so it's tough to see that.
100%. It's kind of some of the stuff we talked about in the last episode too, about this pressure that you feel, especially for us as women. And the reality is it is hard, and you can't pour from an empty cup. You also don't want to feel like you're slacking on your goals. And so it's this constant balance back and forth of kind of coming back to what that is that you want, and also making time for rest, and actually having rest be a part of what you want, and finding that balance can be really hard.
I think the key is learning that balance does look different for everyone, right? The reality is you can balance ambition and softness, but it requires some level of flexibility. So some seasons of your life may be all about bossing up and grinding, and others might be about slowing down and embracing the softness. And I feel like for me right now, I'm leaning into kind of low key a soft girl era, even though I'm like, I still got to hustle and find my new career. But I'm also taking the time to step back and breathe a little bit because when, again, it's going back to the balance.
100%. I love thinking about it as seasons or eras where it ebbs and flows, and everything there. And I think knowing that both of those seasons are very valid, you're still doing enough, even when you're resting. Like, this idea that you have to be on and ambitious all the time is insane. And it's important to remind yourself that balance doesn't always mean 50-50 all the time. It is these shifts, it is these eras or these seasons. And we have to be kind to ourselves and recognize that both roles can coexist. And it doesn't mean that every single day has to have one versus the other, or the perfect 50-50 balance of both.
So then the question is, how do we navigate these two without burning out? I feel like we should talk about practical tips. For me, I'd say number one is listening to your body and your energy levels. If you need to give yourself rest, do that, take that permission. But pushing through burnout is never the answer. And I have been so guilty of pushing myself until it has actually made me sick
Mm-hmm.
and being forced to slow down. I remember there's one period of time, I remember I was working full time, I was teaching more classes, and I was running around. I was involved in all of these different organizations. And there was one point where I got so sick, I was ended up in the ER, and I had like an
Wow.
emergency mini surgery where it put me out for 2.5 weeks of just like, well, I can't work out, I can't really do a whole lot of work, I can't because I couldn't sit. So I was like, well, I'm just laying down here, and I was forced to rest. So pushing through burnout, it's totally not worth it.
Wow, I didn't know that that happened. That's so scary.
Yeah, it very much so. It really put in perspective, I really do need to be listening to myself. And from that moment on, I have never pushed myself to that limit and have prioritized rest, taken the time to say no to things and take care of myself.
Yeah, it's so important. It's really about, hopefully people listening don't have to get to that point where they know what that limit
Hmm.
is, right? Like, because that is so scary.
It
And I
is.
think it's such a good reminder that people need to set boundaries. So whether it is your work life boundaries or your personal life boundaries, what are the things that you're saying no to? Because you cannot say yes to everything. There's no person in this world who can say yes to everything. You have to have some things that you're saying no to. And it's important to know what that is so that you can really protect your peace and not overcommit.
Yes. And remembering that self care isn't just about taking a bubble bath, right? It's also making choices that support your growth, whether it's investing in a business or just simply taking a day off to recharge.
Exactly. It's all about figuring out what you need in the moment, being okay with shifting between both the soft life and the boss life as needed. And of course, give yourself grace. Talk about this a lot. Give yourself grace. It's okay to go back and forth between hustle and rest. You don't have to choose one or the other. You don't have to be perfect in any of this. And life is really just about flow, not being too rigid in what you're trying to do.
I really, really loved this conversation. I feel like I definitely needed it. And it's always such a good reminder to take time for yourself. You can embrace both, but make sure you're taking care of yourself in the process.
100%.
So, with that being said, it's time to play our little game we love. What's the ick?
I am so ready for this. I feel like we've done a lot of overrated, underrated lately. So I'm excited
We
for what's
have.
the ick. You should kick us off.
Okay, perfect. All right. My first one, not even first one, this is the only one. I could list off many, but I'll stick to one for now. But it is people who try to one up you. It it irritates me to no end. It's not cute, it's not a flex. My example of this is I'll express some days that like I'm really tired. I've worked a full day or I've kind of been out and about and I'm really tired today. And I'll have a friend in the past that said like, "Oh, you're tired? Try working, 10 hours here dealing with these people." Or, I traveled all day and I did all of this. And it's like, okay, do you want a cookie? Like, am I not allowed to be tired because you work twice as hard as I? Like, that's okay, cool. We're both valid in being tired. We're both allowed to be tired. I could work 1 hour and be tired. Okay. I could work 10 hours and be tired. But you don't get to tell me the validity of my tiredness. That's actually crazy. Don't make me come for you.
It's giving you're projecting. Like you're
Right.
projecting, are you envious that I'm in this situation and you're in that situation? The one that always irritates me is if I say that I'm tired or I'm stressed out or something, and then someone goes, "How can you be stressed? You don't even have kids." Well, okay. One, you're projecting. Feeling a little envious over there or something? I mean, I'm just saying. You chose that life. I chose this life. We can both have stress in both lives. Stress comes in very different forms. It's not just about having kids. Just saying. So, yeah, I feel you on that. That would piss me off. It does piss me off.
Yeah, it does. I'm like, girl, be for real. I'm allowed to be tired. I'm allowed to be stressed. Okay. That's life.
Yeah, and it's not a competition of who's more stressed out.
Could you imagine? That's so weird.
It's so weird.
Okay, what is your ick?
Okay, mine is giving the same energy, but people who have no work-life balance. We just talked about balance. Okay, it's actually annoying. If you are working from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., it's not a badge of honor. Don't brag about how, I've been working since 7 a.m. Oh my God, I was up till 10 p.m. working on this thing. Especially when you're working for someone else. I get it, like you're hustling for your own business. Great, love that for you. Still have balance because you need it. But like, especially if you are working for someone else and you're working those crazy hours, it's embarrassing. To me, it's a sign of like, are you bad at managing your time? Because I'm doing just as we like, especially I'll be like, we have the same job. I know I'm doing well in my job. And I'm not working those crazy hours. And I'm not going to let you pressure me into working those crazy hours because you work those crazy hours. That is some toxic culture. I'm not about it. It's embarrassing. I'm shutting my laptop. I'm doing my night routine. I'm having some me time. I'm having life out of work. You need balance. And it's gross, in my opinion. So
I agree. I 100% agree. It's, again, going back to that, it's not a flex for you to be working 20 hours and like that doesn't make any sense.
No.
You need to take time for yourself. I used to tell my other coworkers, do not give your entire mind, body, spirit to this job because one day, poof, gone. Right?
Literally.
So, and they will replace you with the quickness. So like work your hours that you're supposed to. If your normal day is 9 to 5, you work 9 to 5 and be done at 5 because whatever comes in at 6, 7 o'clock, it's not, most things are closed. It's a tomorrow problem at that point.
Exactly. And I think for me, it's crazy because I feel like people will be like, oh, what's the work-life balance? And like, even at my own company, I know people who work these kind of hours, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. sometimes later. And I'm like, and so if they ask them, what's your work-life balance? They're going to say, oh, it's this. They ask me, I'm like, no, I have a pretty healthy work-life balance. I have side hustles outside of work. I do really well at my job and I work my hours. And there are sometimes I go a little bit later and sometimes that I go a little bit earlier. And like, I feel like I have a good balance, but because it's about you setting those boundaries, nobody's going to set them for you. Though I still get pinged at 10 p.m., but guess what? I'm not answering and all my coworkers know I'm not answering. And sorry, I'll talk to you in the morning. Like, it's
getting pinged at 10 p.m. is crazy.
I don't keep any of my notifications on. Honestly, on any of my apps, especially after that late, I don't like notifications that give me anxiety. So I'm not getting them, but I see them in the morning. I'm like, you were up at 10 p.m. working. You are crazy. So that's my ick. Well, I feel like overall this was such a good conversation. So needed right now. And so we hope that everyone listening is really leaving with some fresh insight on how to balance your life without feeling like you have to choose between softness or boss girl life, the softness or ambition. You can have both.
Yes, it's all about finding what works for you and letting go of the guilt that comes with trying to be everything all at once.
Exactly. So let's leave you with our last drop of tea. Stephanie, what's one thing you want our listeners to take away from today?
You do not have to pick one side. You can have moments of being a boss and moments of being soft. Honor where you're at and know that you are enough.
I love that. And I'll add, don't let the pressure of social media or society make you feel like you're not doing enough. Your journey is yours, so embrace it.
If this episode resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe, share with a friend, and tag us on social media. We love hearing from you and building this community.
All right, we'll see you next time. Bye, friends.